The Knicks lose this game, game two, 114 to 109. Another tough loss at the Garden for the Knickerbockers. They're now down 0-2 in the series. This city was ready to be buzzing. Everybody was looking to party outside MSG. There's no cheering outside MSG tonight at all whatsoever. Knicks are down 0-2. But joining us to talk about the Knickerbockers is the homie, Brooklynite, great lyricist, one of the best in the game of all time. Huge Knicks fan. My guy, SKYZ to the double O. Here, Sky, what's good, bro? How you doing, man?
Peace. What's up, y'all? What's going on?
I'm good,
What up,
brother.
Sky?
How are you feeling after this loss and what you
feeling like one of them psychic you know what I mean, with Dionne Warwick or one of them, you know what I mean, knowing listen, this is why I didn't want to play Indiana, man. You know what I mean? Everybody who I in my close circle who I speak to on this every day, I say, y'all, I want Minnesota. I wanted Cleveland. I wanted Cleveland bad because we would have ran through Cleveland, man. Like, I knew this was gonna happen. The thing about Indiana, couple things. One, they fast, they run and gun. Two, they love playing in the Garden. They love quieting all the mayhem that we see, people climbing up on 100-foot billboards and jumping off with Crocs on. They love quieting all that. And the third thing about them, they're not afraid of us. And that's a recipe for disaster. They're not afraid of the Knicks. They proved that last year. You know what I mean? Like, they're not afraid of us. You know, a lot of other teams in the league, they saw us and they was like, yo, the Knicks is for real, blah, blah, blah. Halliburton lives for this. He really embraces the Reggie Miller ethos and all that. And, like, they're not afraid of us, man. And that's what's showing. And I feel like in game one, you know, we was ripping, we was running. Everything was right. And when it switched and we let that lead go, you saw the air leave the room, but you saw the hearts kind of get snatched out. So even when it went to overtime and we was tied up and it went to overtime, you could look at that and be like, yeah, I don't know if they're going to pull it off this game. And this is just game one, because when it went the way it went to get to overtime, the hearts were snatched out. So now that energy and that mode and that vibe carries over into game two. Now it's deadly. Like, the hearts are gone. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
the heart is gone, Sky? It's a wrap?
I'm talking about within the team. I'm talking about
Oh, okay.
No, not with us. No, I'm talking about with the team.
Yeah.
It's a different thing now. Like, you really on the ropes now, you know. And of course, we all saying Knicks and 6, and we've been saying that before they threw up the first tip off. But it's a different thing now, because when losing these two games at the crib, when the energy was through the roof, when we did the unthinkable to Boston, losing these two games, man. I'm not saying it's over. I'm always going. We could be down 0-3. I'm still gonna ride. But it's deep waters now, you know, and it goes back to game one. It's like my man Donahue said. Shout out to my man Anthony MSG. My man Donahue. We was texting and he was like, "Yo, man, if we lose this series, that game one is gonna be like the worst loss since like '78." You know what I mean? Like, it's literally what we were saying in the text. Like, it could come back to haunt us, man. This thing tonight, there was so many times where we had it not in the bag the way we had it in game one, but where we had it, and we let it slip away. I don't see any plays being drawn up. I don't know what on the offensive side. I don't know what's going on in the huddle. You know what I mean? If they're talking about what they're gonna do after the game, where they're gonna go eat dinner and all that, I don't know what they're doing in the huddle. I don't see when they come out of the huddle, when they come out of the timeout. I don't see anything except, yo, who could get it? Who could get? Okay, you over there. Okay, it's your turn. You can have it. Go ahead. I don't. But meanwhile, you look at Indiana. It's cutting. It's running. Why is there always somebody open? Why is there always somebody open? And
Scott, let me ask you this then. And by saying all that and what you're observing watching the game, do you look at that as a player effort problem, or are you saying that this could be a coaching issue?
I see effort. I see effort. They don't seem lazy. I see effort. I see them putting what they feel is their best foot forward. Obviously, JB, he had like 30 plus and 11 assists or something like that. I see effort, but I'm telling you, that swag and that energy, yo, we got that has left the room, man. That's left the room. I'm talking about on the court. I'm not talking about us in the crowd. I'm not talking about us at home watching TV. that has left the room. You can see it in the body language. The effort is there. Don't get me wrong. You can see it in the body language. You can see it in missed defensive assignments, lapses. Why are they coming out of a timeout and it's a cut? Boom, it's a pat right under the boom. Obi's there. Miles Turner is there. Boom, Nimhard is there. That friggin' Nat, TJ McConnell is there. A real life Nat. A real life Nat. And the bird of them all, Halliburton, feathers all over the court. The bird of them all. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, I can't stand none of them, but they're doing what they have to do. And the unthinkable is starting to happen, man. This is why I wanted Cleveland. This is why I wanted Cleveland. That's why I said the psychic thing in the beginning. This is why I wanted Cleveland,
I,
B, because
I want to
these
let the
wouldn't be
people.
the problems we had. Even though they won 60 plus games,
Yeah.
these wouldn't be, because Cleveland's afraid of us. Cleveland's Donovan and all of them. Cleveland's afraid of us. Indiana's not afraid of us. I don't care if they was the 10th seed. They're not afraid of us, and that's a problem.
Yep. Yeah. To be honest, like I texted Sky before the series, and he told me he's like, we felt good about it, but we were like, hey, this is going to be a tough one. We talked about this. Sky and I were texting about this. It was like, this is going to be a tough one. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy.
Sky, I hope all is well. Haven't spoke to you in a minute, my guy. I hope you're doing
Likewise,
well.
brother.
Blessings to the family. When it comes to, you talked about the court and like the heart not being there. Karl Anthony Towns, big plus minus, -20, I think, plus or -25. Defensively, speak on that real quick, because we see when Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride is out there on the court, the team looks better defensively. And when Karl Anthony Towns is out there, Dex pointed during the watch along, it kind of looks like he's a deer in the headlight. He's worried about too much, whether he should go on the pick and roll, whether he should fight through it, or try not to draw a foul. What was your perspective on Cat tonight?
Yeah, I think him, along with the team as a whole, man, they're very afraid of getting called for fouls too. And you can see it, especially with Cat, right? Like, you do something so many times and the refs call this, the refs call it. It's like if you're in school and the teacher keep calling the same, now you laying off for real. So like you're seeing moments where heads is going up and Cat is literally pulling back because he's like, yo, they're going to call a foul. I'm over it. I can't get fouled out. I can't afford, even if I got one foul on my name, I can't go in there and afford to get all these fouls. Let me do nothing. And the whole team is doing that, right? And you kind of can't blame them on that. That's these refs and that's this era that Adam Silver built, and that's a whole different conversation. But it's you can't breathe on heads. Can't breathe on nobody, man. And they calling everything. So with Cat, I think he may be a little hurt. You're seeing him wince a little bit, his hand. When he runs back, and I'm a Cat fan, I got the jersey and all that, but when he runs back, he looks like he's always limping a little bit, or there's some sort of pain, or he's lugging something. Like, I don't know. I don't. He always runs back real slow, and I don't know if that's a injury that he's pushing away to get through the series and to get through the playoffs. And if he is, that's amazing because we do need him right now. Best shooting big man in the league, maybe ever. Definitely tired of 40-footers when no one's under the basket.
Facts.
Definitely
Agreed.
tired of that from him.
Agreed.
And I'm a big Cat fan. But listen, I grew up, playing in the park and playing, little league and all that, playing ball. You wasn't allowed to shoot from long range if nobody wasn't under the basket to get a read. Like that was a rule. You know what I mean? That was a rule. Like, why are you jacking when nobody's under the rim to get a rebound? Just in case. We don't live in that era no more, and it's disgusting. Like, he's shooting from 40 and there's no one under the rim to grab the read. So now you got 4 paces getting a read. You got 1 running out. You got a full court pass or some D Wade to LeBron work, and you got Obi tomahawking. Like, and it's just wash, rinse, repeat. And these are real scary, uncharted territory. I'm not saying we can't do it. It's 2 games. It ain't 3. But you saw the stat at the end of the night. I think it said the record is 76-6 in the conference finals for teams that go down, teams that go up 2-0. Teams that go up 2-0, they won 76 times and lost 6.
Yeah.
And this team, if it was against Minnesota, yeah, we could do that. If it was against Cleveland, yeah, we could do that. Miami, oh yeah, we could do that. Indiana, confidence is everything, man. With everything in life, with music, you can have somebody that's the definition of mid. If they got confidence, they get on the radio, they think they Jay-Z. You know what I mean? They up there acting like they black, and even though they're not, because confidence is everything. You know what I'm
Right. That's
saying?
facts. That's
Facts,
facts.
So
facts.
it's the
Facts.
same thing. Somebody could be dirt, but if they got the confidence, they get on flex and act like they dumping when they not, but they could trick you into believing it because the confidence is spilling over. So it's the same thing on the court. Indiana's confidence is through the roof right now. They came to New York. I mean, literally the loudest arena, big city, every celeb, every baddie, everybody on the floor. People laughing at them like, yo, y'all from a hick town, y'all hicks and your farms and your hay and tumbleweed and all that. And they said, all right, word up, word up, word up. And they came here and stomped us out twice.
Yeah.
So now you gotta hope to go there, get 2 joints, come back, even it up, and then even if you even it up, 2 up, you still come back feeling like the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt. If
Facts.
the Knicks go win
Facts.
2 joints in Indiana next week, Sunday and then Tuesday or whatever it's going to be, and now the score is 2-2, I guarantee you in that locker room behind closed doors, they still feel like the underdog. They still feel
Damn.
pressure. Even though they're the better team on paper, they've been the better team all season. They've beat them in the regular season, and we got the home court advantage because our crib is iller and better and the fans is louder and doper. Don't matter. They would still come back feeling like the underdogs. And
Mm.
Indiana would still feel confident of being able to run through us. I'm telling you, man, like they're not afraid of us. They're
Yeah.
not they're not afraid of us. In that game one, we had to have that. And there was things that went against us, you know, that OG Anunoby blown layup
Mm-hmm.
when he didn't know if he wanted to yam it or lay it up or finger roll it and he got caught in the matrix. That was 2 points. You know, Jalen Brunson, when they goaltended on him and it should have been called a goaltend, that's 2 points. And now that's 4 points. We lost by 3. Boom, we'd have won the game.
I talked
But we
about that.
also
Yeah, you
shot
mentioned that.
what we also shot 12 for 28 from the line or something crazy.
Horrible.
They missed 12
That's
free
the
28,
game
throws.
right
28
there.
to 40.
That's the
28
game.
to 40. Yeah. They
Yeah.
missed
Okay,
12
I'm
free
sorry, 28 to 40.
But
My
they
numbers
missed
was
12. But they missed 12 to your point, Sky. Sky, let me ask you this also.
Right.
Just like heading into next game, because we got a lot of comments about adjustments and people want to see Deuce and people want to see Mitch and people want to see them start. Like, is there anything at this point? Because now season's on the line and you're at a deficit where it's very difficult historically to come back from. Is there
Yeah.
anything you would change in the starting lineup or anything you would change in general to try to adapt to this series moving forward?
It's tough, man, because if you go one by one, right? I mean, obviously JB is who he is, and that's solidified concrete. I'm not moving Hart out of that starting lineup. I see the people on the tweeters and all that, you know, saying Deuce over Hart and all that, and I get it, but I don't. The things that Hart does, the irony of his last name being Hart, like the things that he does, that's very hard to get. And
Yeah.
I don't care if he scores 1 point. He'll run through there and get 19 rebounds and 3 blocks, and then he'll make 5 plays that don't show up in the box score, right? Like for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's an untouchable dude right there. Like I'm not moving him out of the starting lineup. McCall, you know, how do you not start a guy who you gave up that much equity for, who you spent that much out of the bank on? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
OG, you need that. And then Cat again, you know, somebody who can go in there and give you 30 and 15. He can. He's done it multiple times this year. He's done it in the playoffs a couple times. Like you mess around, Cat can wind up having 35 and 12. You'd be like, yo, there it is, you know. So is what would you do? Who would you move out? I guess Hart would be the number one culprit, but I don't know if that makes it because obviously it would be Deuce unless you moved everybody back and you started, you know, Cat at the 4 and Mitchell at the
Mitchell
5.
5.
Yeah.
But if you do that, who's coming off the bench to help either one of them? Are you going to put the trust in Precious? Are you going to put the trust in Huck Porty? I don't see Tibbs doing that, man. We've known Tibbs a long time now. I don't see Tibbs doing it. So that's the problem. That's the issue right there. And we knew it was going to be an issue with the bench. We knew the bench was going to be what it was. We don't have no Nat named McConnell. You know, we don't have no Nat flying around that we can sub in for they Nat. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the thing right there. That, you know, we the bench is thin as we knew coming into this. So you're putting a lot on these starters. I just don't see any plays on the offensive side being drawn up. Every time I see Indiana inbound the ball, heads is cutting and moving, cutting and moving.
Mhm.
Hallie ain't scared of nobody. You know the move Hallie is gonna do. You know he gonna shake. He gonna throw his shoulders hezzy, throw his shoulders head through, and then he gonna either step back or find somebody cutting because you're
Yep.
afraid of him drilling the three, so you doubling him for no reason. Boom, you chucking it, and boom, now there you go. Siakam look like friggin' Jordan tonight. Man, if
He
somebody don't
did.
knock the wind out of these
Yeah.
dudes' chests, I don't understand. Like that's the answer. You know what I mean? Like that. Yo, knock the wind out of these kids' chests a little bit, man, and make them scared to run through there and do what they got to do. You know what I mean?
Also,
Get your PJ Tucker on. Like I don't, somebody got to take a foul or two here and there and take one for the team. Like yo, you're gonna foul out, right? Cool. Put Huck Porty in there, let him foul out. Yo, knock the wind out of these kids' chests, man, a couple times and let them learn this is what it's gonna be, and then take advantage running up down that court. But maybe I'm too old school, man. Maybe playing ball in the mid '90s in the park and PS11 and all that. And I don't know. It's a little different. You know what I'm saying? But
That
that's my resolution.
Yeah, yeah.
that's
You know what I'm
that,
Is there
saying? But
anything? Is there anything I want to ask you, Sky? Also, is there anything that you think Tibbs can do or that the team can do defensively to try to stop some of this bleeding? Because you mentioned it, and you see this with the Pacers. Like, if you watch them all year on League Pass, as soon as the other team scores and they're cutting to just show the person who just scored or whatever, the ball's down the court.
it's
Like
gone.
the Pacers
It's
are already
gone.
they're already taking their
Absolutely.
shot. Is there anything the
gone.
Knicks could do to combat that? You think?
I just think they got to move faster and they got to stop worrying about the double. Like man to man, like worrying about the double is what's killing them. Like I'm watching Mitchell Robinson double Nimhard. Like why? You double Nimhard, boom. Miles Turner's open, bomb, got that. 2 point. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why are we doubling everybody? If you want to double Hallie here and there, cool. But other than, and especially if JB is on him because it's such a height advantage, right? Such a
difference.
height
Yeah.
difference. But that's what you got McCall over there for. So I'm locking McCall on him, and that's it. Why are we anybody else? I'm not doubling. Like, don't double Obi at the 3-point line. We know Obi can't shoot, and that's not no knock, but it is what it is. Like every time Obi jacks from three, I'm like, he's missing that. And he misses. But if it's an open lane or a cut, Obi's gonna yam it. Without a doubt. We know his strengths, we know his weaknesses. Why are we doubling Obi at the 3-point line? He's
Yeah.
not gonna hit that. And if
Right.
he does, live with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're
Absolutely.
doubling everybody who touches the ball out of fear. That's fear. It's like, yo, we can't let this run up. We got to double and swarm everybody. And when that happens, someone's always open. And it was the same thing in the Boston series. Every time I look, Derek White is wide open. Derek White looked like friggin', you name it. You know what I mean? Like friggin' Steph Curry, like that. Every time I look, Derek White was open drilling a three. So it's the same thing now. You're doubling people every time they touch the ball. You're doubling. Someone's gonna be open, and that's the issue. And so defensively, yo, just man up. Everybody, just man up. We don't need the double, man. Just man up. And it's always the big man coming on the double, so their big
Yeah.
man is wide open to get off. At
And,
least that's
and
how I look on my TV.
Well, that's
You
it.
know what I mean?
They keep putting Cat into those actions and bringing him up really high, and then he's caught in no man's land. And I think you made a great point, Sky, with Cat, because we were talking about this. Cat is always looking hesitant, right?
Yeah.
And some of it is the
Yeah.
fear of fouling. I love this word you brought up fear a lot here. It's the
Yeah.
fear of fouling. It's not being decisive on defense. It's not the communication that we should be seeing. Do you have Hector? I know you have a question, but do you have any faith that this could turn around by Sunday? Because we're playing every
100%.
other day now. So you have faith.
100%.
You're still standing strong.
Yeah, 100%. I have a ton of faith. Listen, if they was able to make this happen in 6 or 7 games, yeah, I have all the faith in the world, but I'm also a realist when it comes to them and anything in the league. And it's gonna be the fight that we all knew it would be. It's gonna be the fight we all knew. If you watch the league and you watch Indiana and you watch the Knicks and you watch last year as well, and you watch last year's playoffs, it's the fight we knew was coming. This is why I didn't want to play them. I told heads at the start of the playoffs.
Did you think they would be down 0-2 though? Because that's a different kind of fight, Sky. Did you think they'd be down?
Did I
0-2?
think it initially?
Yes, before the
Not
season.
at all. Not at all. No. I saw us getting 2 games at the crib to start. I definitely saw that possible between the energy at the Garden, feeding off the crowd, winning the Boston series the way we won, doing the unthinkable. No one had us, right? ESPN had us 0-11. Like, you know what I mean? Like all the writers, it was 0-11. Everybody had us taking the L. you come off of that confidence. We talked about confidence earlier. You come
Yep.
off of that confidence. That's more than enough lane for you to go crazy and continue to run with it. And they did. The first 3 quarters of game 1, they did. Every time Cat drill, he holding up his joint, he hitting him with the Spider-Man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it was great. I'm not even knocking. No. I'm just reenacting. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we had it. And when that second half of the fourth quarter started to slip, that's when the heart started getting pulled out of them. Like, yo, hold up.
100%.
And then when Hallie, that friggin', oh gosh, when Hallie, that bird feathers
Yeah,
all
you
over
hate
the
him.
court.
You hate him
You
so
know, you wonder
much.
why they was slipping everywhere the other night. All the freaking feathers
Bird
on the
feathers?
court.
The bird feathers on the
All the
court.
feathers on the court from that bird. So,
Uh,
you know, and I hope they watching. Please do it. But yeah, but you know, so once he starts hitting and going what he do, then it was. Oh, I knew in overtime. And when it cracked overtime, I was like, yeah, this is a dub. This is a dub because
Yeah.
it was gone. If you the losing team and you hit overtime, you got the energy. Yo, we brought it to overtime. We got a fighting chance, which is what Indiana did. When you was up 10, 15, just like it with us with Boston, you know what I mean? You up 10, 15 and blah, 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 blah. Now, you let it slip. We was up 9 with 52 seconds left or whatever. You let it slip. Yeah, now you scared. So even when you get to overtime, you scared because now you worried. Yo, we can't let that happen again. We got 5 minutes to make sure this doesn't happen again. I knew when overtime hit, I was like, this is a dub. This game is over. And it was.
Scott,
And
I would
that
like to
same
get
energy of that fear of, yo, this ain't going the way we thought it was going to go. We thought we was going to take this. We thought we was going to get our crib and we was going to knock them down and bury them and go up 2-0. We got the confidence. We the team. We got everything. We got street names and all that and blah, 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 blah. We got it. And then game 2, it's like, yo, this ain't going the way we thought it would. And they took that. They playing scared. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, man. I believe in us. I'm always gonna believe. I'm always gonna push for us to do it and do the unthinkable. We could be down 0-3. I'm still gonna push. I'm gonna be a realist, but like I said, I'm still gonna be, yo, nah, we coming back, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that the heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet. B.I. Rest in peace.
rest in
They
peace.
heartbeat is Sasquatch feet right now. I promise you. They heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet right now. It's thundering.
Skyzoo, I would like to get your perspective, right? Because we know Tom Thibodeau likes to play eight man deep, right? But when you look at Indiana, they're throwing so many different looks at the Knicks. Indiana played 11 players tonight. Tom Thibodeau went 8 deep. Granted, Campaign was one of those players, so we could really say 7 because Campaign didn't do anything for us.
Yo.
What's your thoughts on Tom Thibodeau switching it up? And then let's keep Campaign in New York.
My son, listen, B. Listen, I told Heads at the start of the season, I said, when you go to the park, it was always that one kid. And you be like, yo, listen, B. Hey, yo, listen, B. That's Campaign. My son, listen, B. That's him. So listen, B is out there jacking. You know what I'm saying?
We all
And
know
everybody
one.
watching, this is coming from a diehard realist Knicks fan. A realist. But my son, the Knicks fan, my son, listen, B is out there jacking everything that he, man. I'm sorry, man. So yeah, really playing seven out, right? Like really playing with 7 players. I mean, you want him to go to that bench more, but like who can he go to outside of McBride? Of course, Mitchell. Got very scared when Mitchell limped a little bit in that fourth quarter. When he came down, you know, he was trying to block Hallie. And you know, it looked like something happened with his ankle, but he played through it. Hopefully that's not nothing that pops up on us. But who do you go to?
DeLon
And
Wright?
that's not a knock on nobody, but this is the real war right now. This isn't, you know, early November. You throw Dottier out there and Kolick. This is not that. This is the real war. You know what I mean? This is, yo, we are very close, but now it feels very far. Who do you throw out there? And I'm telling you that bench situation and all that, it's, I don't know, man. I have my predictions of where they will go if this thing doesn't go right. But that's a whole nother conversation for another episode, maybe. But I have my predictions of where they'll go if this don't go right. But right now, we gonna push and push that it does go right and they do the unthinkable.
I gotta be guilty. I was the kid on the court that was called Listen
Oh,
B.
you listen, B?
When I played in
we all
Chris,
knew a Listen B.
when I
we
played
all
in
knew a Listen
Crispin's
B.
attic, and when I played at over there for Brown Memorial Baptist Church, I was the Listen B.
Yeah, you played for Brown.
Yeah, you have to be like, yo,
we
listen,
all
man,
knew a Listen B. You know what I mean? We
you're
all
gonna
knew
stand
one.
you're gonna stand in the corner. You're not gonna shoot until we tell you to shoot. You're
Right.
not gonna dribble.
Or a Listen B was a dude who, like how Cam used to be when he was on other teams before he got to us. You hit one shot and you acting like you scored 50, and you talking wild tough. So now you gotta get in his face like, yo, listen, B. That's you know what I'm saying. We all knew a Listen B. We all knew a Listen B. You know what I'm saying? Cam is Listen B. You know what I mean? So
we did, man. Look, I think we all here hope the Knicks could turn it around, man. It's a disappointing night for New York, disappointing for the fans, but we'll see what they can do, Sky, on Sunday. I know you'll be watching. I know you'll be tapped in, and I know you always keep the faith. A lot of fans here in the chat, they're not keeping the faith. They're like, it's over, it's a wrap.
Listen, there's a lot of validity in that approach, without a doubt. You down 0-1, okay, cool. You down 0-2, and then it's the fashion that is happening. And like I said, if you down 0-2 to Minnesota, you down 0-2 to Cleveland, you down 0-2 to Miami with with Bam and Tyler, and there's no Jimmy there. Yo, I'm all right, cool. This is getting weird, but yo, we could go over there and rock them. You know what I mean? But when you dealing with Indiana, the reasons why everybody is saying what they're saying in the chat, even if they don't know it up front and firsthand, it's because deep down, without them even realizing it, they know Indy's not scared of us, man. They're not scared of us.
Right.
You got this kid, choking and winking. He winking the night after he drilling a three. Like that's when somebody come in your crib at your school. You playing for your school. Heads come from another school, start wilding and dumbing out and looking at you crazy and winking and that's what he's doing. He's not afraid. He's having the time of his life. He's not afraid, and that's a problem. No one's putting no fear in these dudes. You know what I mean? No one, and I don't even mean, flagrant tools. I don't mean anything like that. I mean letting them know, yo, listen, we here, we score, we get big. Like they know who JB is. They know, like, yo, Jalen gonna get his 30, right? Do all you can do. I'm sure Carlisle is looking at them like, look, JB's gonna get his 30. You need more than 30 points to win the game.
Yeah.
If he gets his 30, try to stop him. But if he get his 30, I'm not mad at none of y'all. I just better not see nobody else get 30. That's the game plan. Because they know he's going to get his. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even if it look like he having a bad night, you look up, he got 32 and 8. Okay, what? You know what I mean? Like, even if it feels like he's having a bad night, before you know it, he done cracked the 30 ball again. Okay, word up. Boom, boom. Just don't let nobody else get 30. Let him get his. Just don't let nobody else get 30. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And it's looking dim right now, man. Listen, I want us to go. I believe we can. I would not be surprised if a sweep happened. And I think you can feel both ways, in all honesty, right? You can have faith and belief that we will come back and win this, but you can also not be surprised. I'm not predicting it. I'm not saying, yo, this is what's going to happen. I'm saying if it happened, I would not be surprised, because I'm telling you, that heart is out the room, man. It sounds like Sasquatch feet. It's thundering, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, they scared right now. And it's awful wearing these wonderful, beautiful letters, and having to look at that as the reality and the potential realization, They are afraid right now, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's not good for Knicks Nation, but we'll see. Sky,
but we riding. Let's let them know.
There you go.
We riding. I don't want nobody to hear all this and think I threw in the towel. Now we riding. It's just about being a realist and dealing with the reality and also knowing what they. Listen, if this don't go right and they tap out on this, watch the changes that happen this summer.
That's gonna be interesting.
And this is not me having no inside intel. This is just me priding myself as being an intelligent individual and watching the game and watching who's on the market. I already know where this movie going. I already know it.
Scott, hold on real quick, because one of the last times we talked was right before the Knicks made that massive trade for OG Anunoby, and you called it literally 2 weeks before the trade happened with IQ that the Knicks would be shopping IQ, and everybody in the chat didn't believe you. So I'm not saying that you are Nostradamus, but if you got the lotto numbers, please share the lotto numbers with us, my guy.
I know, right? Listen, the lotto numbers is 3 and 4, aka 34. That's where I feel they're gonna go, without a doubt.
3-4 or 3-5?
3-4, 3-4. 3-4, without a doubt. 34, okay. Without a doubt. That's where they're gonna go, and it's gonna be one of the starting 5 that has to go, because the numbers got to make sense and add up. The math has to add. This is not me speaking to nobody up there. I don't know nobody up there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, y'all know more people in the building than I do. I don't know nobody up there. This is just me as somebody who's been watching basketball my whole life and realizing how this thing works. It'll be somebody in the starting lineup because the numbers got to add up. Mm-hmm.
It really only could be one dude in the starting lineup if you're looking at the positions and the money of it. So, I mean,
it won't be who you think. Listen, listen, I want to emphasize.
I know where you're thinking on this.
Huh?
Yeah. I kind of know where you're. I know where you're thinking of when you said it won't be who people think.
We'll have time.
It's OG. It would be OG. It would be.
Yeah,
OG.
I knew that's where you were going.
It would be OG.
People don't think Bridges, but OG makes.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking Bridges.
No, you weren't. Okay, people.
I think looking at the up and down of Bridges, people would prefer if they had to pick. But I think, one, that makes it harder because of the up and down, and 2, JB and all. Hart is untouchable, as he should be. Hart is untouchable because he's Jalen Brunson's best friend and the intangibles of what he does. He should be untouchable because of the things that he does. He's untouchable. They're not going to do Cat because they just brought Cat in, and Cat and Leon are very, very, very close. Yeah. They've been close forever. Obviously, it's not Brunson. It would be OG. It will be OG.
We have a lot of time to get into.
Yeah, we'll have time.
Oh yeah.
We'll have time.
Listen, but we're not there yet, and hopefully we don't have to get there, because you can't shake up a team after you win the chip. You know what I mean? So hopefully we do the unthinkable, and then we do the unthinkable again. And in June, we had a beautiful parade, and we going crazy, and blue and orange, everything is ringing off from the speakers, and we going crazy, and the whole thing is happening. And before you know it, it's like, yo, we don't have to bust a move for 3-4. You know what I'm saying? But in my heart of hearts, if it don't go right, get ready.
Last thing I'm gonna just say before we go and get out of here. I don't think any of us want to see it. I think a lot of people agree with me in the chat. We don't need to see Campaign anymore in the next game. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, fellow Steelers fan, but that ain't it. We can't see him in the fourth quarter, Sky. Look, I appreciate you keeping the good vibes. We, you know what I'm saying? I like you thinking about the parade with your song, Blue and Orange, everything. Which is
believe it.
The official Knicks anthem.
Facts.
Trying to let people know that's the official Knicks anthem.
Absolutely.
Don't care what nobody
for this generation. Yo, listen, before we go, I got to shout out Stephon Marbury. Man, he has been a tremendous supporter of Blue and Orange, everything. Every time he posts something about the Knicks, he uses Blue and Orange everything as his theme. He shot me his number. We be on the text. We be on the horn. Boom, boom, boom. And, you know, we was talking today, man, and I was like, yo, bro, just once again, I can't thank you enough, man. And he said something really ill, and it's already a part of my makeup and my design, but I was like, yo, B, I really can't thank you enough. He said, man, all you got to do for me is just pay it forward, you know, and help the next brother out. And I was like, absolutely, always, you know. So he's been showing tremendous support. I've never even been in the same room with Steph outside of being a fan at a Knicks game 20 years ago. You know what I mean? I've never met Steph. You know what I mean? This is all DM, which turned to sending me his number and us texting and getting on the horn. I never even dapped him up yet, you know, and the love he showed all on his own. I didn't send him the record or nothing.
He's like that though.
Yeah.
I just saw it on his page and was like, yo. Then I saw it again and again and again and again. And it was like, yo, and he was like, he literally said, this is the anthem. This is our anthem.
He's right.
He's a Brooklyn. But see, us Brooklyn guys, we know this. We know this. You know what I'm saying?
He's old school Brooklyn too.
Listen, even the listen bees know it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He played for Brown. He played for Brown, so he good. That's the neighborhood, so he good. You know, it's all right. It's all love. It's all love.
There you know. He already knows. Shout out to Fort Greene. He already knows. We already knows. time with it. Sky, appreciate you, brother, for coming and rocking with us here.
Yes.
You gave us so much of your time. I will text you if it all goes wrong in game 3. You know, I'm gonna hit you up.
Man, hit me if it go right too. You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Come on, man. You know we text. So I'll hit you if it goes right too. All right, Sky.
Word
Peace,
up.
bro.
Sky,
Peace and love,
later.
y'all.
Sky.
Peace,
That's
baby.
my guy, the great lyricist from Brooklyn, Skyzoo, and Sky's right talking about Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury is somebody with positive energy. He's even reached out to me in DMs. He's somebody we're trying to get out. His people have been talking. We've been trying to get him on New York Got Game.
Awesome.
So hopefully that happens soon, or maybe he's sitting up here in this chair to watch a game with us soon. So we've been trying to work on some things.
They better
with
win
that.
a game.
Yeah, I
Watch
know.
some time.
I know that. I know that. Look, man, Sky had a lot to say. I like his optimism despite, but this one feels.
I like his realism. You know,
Yeah, I
like
feel
his
like
realism, yeah.
no, I feel like it's a real thing. You can root for your team and be optimistic, and also say that the thing of the Knicks are not instilling the fear on the opposite. I thought him bringing up fear was such a good word because the Pacers don't look shook.
No.
They don't look shook in MSG. They look comfortable. And look, the defense, particularly with Cat on the floor, that I can't defend.
No.
he can't either. That's the problem.
Yeah. Literally and physically out there on the court. When it comes down to it, Rick Carlisle is showing you, and we mentioned it during the game and before the game, why he has a championship and why Tom Thibodeau doesn't. He is using all 11 guys out there throwing different looks. You brought it up when Jalen Brunson came back in the game. He still had Tyrese out there. Granted, it was like 45 seconds or a minute, but that was still allowed Tyrese Halliburton to be more fresh than Jalen Brunson when he came back in the game. And adjustments need to happen. I still have faith, like Skyzoo said. Let's try to push it to 7. I know the odds are against us. I want to be that optimistic Knicks fan, but I know what reality is, bro.
They put the numbers up. It was 76-6. Look, this is why going into this series, I was like, I don't know, because the rotations are going to matter. And if they mess around and split the first 2, like, it can get really dicey. And they didn't even get a split. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, listen, the Pacers don't mess around. Like, they'll put your ass away. It did it to the Bucks. It did it to the Cavs. And these are teams that, like, you know, they're good teams. Like the Bucks at that point, I know they were different. Damian Lillard got hurt and what have you, but like a legitimate playoff team regardless. That was a 4-5 series. And here it's like, I don't think the Pacers are just gonna like, oh, okay, we'll give you 1. You know what I mean? Just to make this interesting. Like, no, they're trying to sweep you guys.
And that crowd is gonna be jumping.
And that,
you know it.
That crowd is gonna be insane. The Pacers haven't made it to the finals since I think
2000.
2000. Yeah.
They beat the Knicks to get there.
They beat the Knicks to get there. That was the first or second Lakers championship.
That was the first Lakers.
That was the first because the year before was Spurs Knicks. Duh. But I think the depth, like, here's the thing, and we were talking about this before. The longer this series goes, that's where you sort of worry about the rotations because the Pacers are going to go 9, 10, 11 deep with confidence, whereas the Knicks, it's going to be 7. And maybe 8, and the 8th is campaign. So,
man, just say it. It's 7.
Just say
trick
7.
or treat with campaign, you know. And I think ultimately, like, as this goes, like, this is why you have to pile up wins early. So, it's not over because it's 2-0, but this is an uphill climb. Right, what you have to do is you absolutely have to win game 3, and then from there, you have to at least put yourself in a position where, at worst, this is 3-1 going back to the Garden, because then you could potentially force a 6. Like, you just got to take it day by day. So when we're back here on Sunday and we're talking about game 3 and going through game 3, they lose that game, then
well,
I mean,
it's a get the curtain.
I thought this was a must win.
Well, I mean, I still think it was, and I think they failed at it in getting a must
but
win.
I don't think I don't think it's a must win where, like, oh, it's over definitively.
Right.
But we're tilting in that direction.
Every game going forward is going to be a must win for him here on out.
I think you're right about taking it one game at a time. You got to listen. I think if the Knicks, you want a shot to win this series again, it is imperative to me. You have to get back to the Garden 2-2.
Yeah.
It can't be 3-1. You have to come back 2-2.
You would take back home court if that's the case.
Yes.
I also told you before, I don't think home court matters in this series at all.
It might not, but here's the thing: you want to give yourself a chance where it's a best of 3 series, and you got to win 2 out of 3. You have 2 games at home. That's the mission if you're the Knicks. Now,
Knicks are better on the road too.
That's what I was going to.
Mhm.
This is the silver lining or thing that you might want to feel good about if you're a Knicks fan. The Knicks have lost 1 road game. They're 5-1 on the road this postseason, and they won 2 games against the defending champions in Boston. Now, can the Knicks go in? Look, the Knicks got to go into Indiana and in Naptown, put on some black. You got to dress for a funeral. It is a business trip. You got to take care of business, but it can't be shook.
Yeah.
How the Knicks? I say about the starts all the time, but when you're on the road, especially when you're on the road, these first 4 minutes. This is how small of a sample size I'm going in the game.
Mm-hmm.
A tenth of the game. The first 4 minutes is going to be absolutely crucial. How they come out. Are you going to silence that crowd?
Mm-hmm.
My mind almost said Marcus Square Arena. At Gainesboro, was it Gainesboro?
Wow.
Gainesboro
Yeah,
Field.
yeah,
I take it back. Y'all don't know nothing about no Marcus Square Arena.
Damn.
I just
It's
they have.
NBA days.
You can't come out soft. A little bit is about what Sky was saying here. You can't come out soft. You can't come out shook. You have to take it. We saw a fight from the Knicks at the end of this game, but then what happened? I hate.
They keep showing fight, but they keep getting out executed.
Right.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And how they got out executed, I was a little surprised they didn't attack Cat more in pick and roll situations at pace at the end of the game. But how did Cat hurt them? Cat twice did not get offensive rebounds when he needed to. He could not secure those. It feels like when Mitchell Robinson out there, and the numbers back this up, heading into the series, the Knicks were getting 39% of their misses when Mitchell Robinson was on the court. 39%, people. He gets these rebounds. Cat doesn't get it. He's not going in there. He's not laying out for it. And then he's not decisive on defense, which tons of the intelligent fans, John, others we had in the chat, were talking all about this throughout. And I do not think this is a starting lineup change.
No.
I think it's a matter of, here's another thing. It hurt the Knicks in the fourth quarter because they got down 10 points. And when they got down 10 points, when they started cutting it a bit to 6, what did Rick Carlisle do? Oh, we're going to do hacker.
Yep.
We're going to, not even the timeouts. We're going to do the
I
hacker.
think they were up
Mitch.
9 when
They were up
they did
9
that
when they
too.
did that.
Yeah.
9. They were by 3 possessions.
Yeah. Like
When he said,
out of rhythm.
because out of rhythm, it's going to force you to put your worst defensive big man back on the floor. And that's great coaching.
Carlisle, man.
But you can only coach great with the personnel that you
That
have. Now, this is the thing, and for people who know me, and this is where I have, John, for you, if you're still watching, this is where I have been critical of Tibbs. This is what the regular season is for the people that say it doesn't matter. This is what our guy Gerard Hector sat up here and talks about. You got to get guys ready by getting the minutes and time in the regular season. So now, if you wanted to, you might be able to throw in a DeLon Wright who's got experience. You might be able to throw in a Tyler Kolek, because can he be any worse than what you've seen from Campaign? Can he be worse?
He'll give you playmaking.
No.
He's not going to be good defensively, and he's a rookie.
That's the problem.
But is Campaign good defensively?
Ultimately, as much as we talk about it, the answer is just kind of like play better. Like play better, execute, be more effective. Like what else can you really do ultimately? And this is the thing, right? Everyone was happy when they beat the Celtics. And one of the things that people said was, hey, they were built to beat the Celtics. That's why they beat the Celtics. And as the Minnesota Timberwolves learned last year, they were the team that was built to beat Denver. And they couldn't beat Dallas. Specifically built to beat Denver. Yep. And then it's like, all right, got over the hump. And then the Western Conference Finals came around, and it's like, oh, no one on this team of great defenders can guard Luka Doncic because he's too big for our small guys and too fast for our big guys. Oh, all their shooters are going to hit corner threes, and they have multiple centers that are good, that are going to be as good as, if not better than, Rudy Gobert. And then this is kind of what's happening here, where it's like you're built to beat the Celtics because, you build Wingstop and all these different things, and the Celtics had their collapses. And then by the time they got hurt, you were ahead in the series to the point where it was like they probably weren't going to come back anyway. Here, though, Pacers are a different team. They don't just stand around the 3-point line and it's like, all right, your turn, my turn, we're going to shoot. And we keep talking about the pace, but it's also the fact that they're better defensively than last year, because a lot of Knicks fans were saying, hey, they only won because of injuries. And while that could have been true last year, this is a much better defensive team this year. Statistically, it just is. The Pacers are a better defensive team this year by a good amount. They have chemistry because all of their guys are back pretty much. They didn't make any big changes.
Chemistry is always underrated.
The Knicks made big changes. This is the first year of Karl Anthony Towns in the starting lineup. It was the first year of Mikal Bridges in the starting lineup. And then Mitchell Robinson wasn't even playing for a lot of the season.
Granted, I think
I just think the Pacers stylistically are a tougher matchup, even though they're not quote unquote a better team than the Celtics. Better than the Knicks, they're proving that they are right now.
Yeah.
But better than the Celtics, like I don't know if I'd say that, but matchup wise,
yeah,
they're a pain in the ass for everybody.
Yeah.
They go to the finals and face OKC. That's not going to be a cakewalk for the Thunder, although I think the Thunder would win that series. But we got to get there first.
Definitely more healthy than the Celtics are, the Indiana Pacers are right now. But two things that the Knicks got to focus on. When you go into Indiana over these next two games, the same way Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers were feeding off of the Knicks fans, you have to do the same thing in Indiana. You have to go out there and you have to feed off of their fans and use that as motivations and not go out there and look shook. Like Tyrese Halliburton, he did that. They came over here into our home, first two games, fed off of the energy that our crowd gave them, and they was able to make a massive comeback in game one, and they was able to have the fourth quarter that they had right now. So that's something that the Knicks have to worry about going forward. And like you brought up, we are a better road team than we are a home team. So hopefully we could switch it up. And maybe if they sleep in a motel or a hotel, they play a lot better.
Look, hopefully they're sleeping in a hotel, not a motel.
NBA team. Motel 6 are nice nowadays. They got free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but NBA teams, they
I don't talk about my last couple of motel experiences. That's a whole other story. You don't want to know. Trust me. You don't want to know. Let's just say, I'll keep it very short. Back when I was doing some weather reporting, I was in South Carolina, and I had to spend the night at a sleep-in, and that was not fun. I will say that. That was not fun.
I've been to a bad motel, too.
It was terrible.
There was blood on the sheets. We switched hotels. We switched.
This was
Shout out to track team from 2011. We went through that at Penn Relays, and then we went back to a different hotel. It was much
I've had some stories about some bad hotel experiences. But look, this is a weird game for me because I do like some of what Thibodeau did in leaning more into playing Mitchell Robinson and playing Deuce McBride. He clearly leans that. Mitchell Robinson played 29 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Everybody out there would have signed if I said Mitchell Robinson playing 29 minutes tonight. Here's the problem. Maybe you needed Mitchell Robinson to play 35, right? And it's because Cat was so bad, and he's really brings down the minus numbers for the starters. Because I don't think that OG and Mikal played bad. You got a lot more from OG earlier, Mikal a little bit more later. I don't think those guys were bad defensively or anything. But the thing that everybody's asking is, can you stretch that bench out more? Are the Pacers fresher? Look at this, guys. Ben Shepherd is getting 13 minutes. Benedict Mathurin, who many people would think would be their sixth or seventh guy, he's not getting major minutes. He had 11 minutes tonight, okay? But they're getting 13, 11, 14, 8, 4, 19 off the bench, and those are six guys playing off the bench. So they're playing 11 deep in a playoff game. Yes, he gave Thomas Bryant 4 minutes. Yes, he gave Tony Bradley 8 minutes. But those minutes matter.
And that's the same guy, essentially.
Basically, backup center,
Because he was like, all right, Thomas Bryant's not working at backup center. I'm going to go to Tony Bradley, who we haven't seen. Like, even if you look at their minutes distribution throughout the playoffs, they have 11 guys and have had 11 guys average double-digit in minutes. Jarris Walker, who we haven't seen in this series, is the other one. Like, we haven't seen Tony Bradley. Respect to him for still being in the league. I don't think a lot of people knew he was still in the league. But you have to respect
the fact that Carlisle is willing to do that. Even if you're stealing 4 minutes here and there. And this is my point always through the regular season where it could matter. So maybe you got to a point where, but you made this up. We know what DeLon Wright can do. We also know the limitations of DeLon Wright.
Yes.
And this is what John was asking for.
You think he has more limitations than Tony Bradley? Like,
no,
he doesn't.
No, but you know what? If he has 4 minutes, even if 4 minutes,
different player because of the size.
4 minutes is keeping somebody else fresher, so they're better down the stretch.
DeLon Wright got 17 points in a playoff game against the Celtics last year.
This is why when people talk about Tibbs, it's not about Tibbs running guys into the ground. It's about guys being ready to play minutes if something happens. If campaign doesn't work. What's the plan when campaign does what he does tonight? Can anybody tell me?
It's either you play Brunson all the minutes or you spot him with DeLon Wright.
But you're not even trying DeLon Wright. When
they did only for 30 seconds.
When Thomas Bryant doesn't work, Carlisle's like, yo, we're gonna go with Tony Bradley.
By the way, a veteran who knows where he's supposed to be. Like Thomas Bryant has more upside. It's a funny conversation to have because we're talking about two backup centers. Thomas Bryant is like a better all-around player, but it's like, all right, he doesn't have it tonight. he's not ideal for this matchup. Let's go to Tony Bradley, who's actually a little bigger and who can survive.
But if you survive the 8 minutes, I get it. Tony Bradley was a +1.
This is the case for DeLon Wright right here. We're making the case for DeLon Wright essentially for a defensive look.
But we saw with DeLon Wright when Jalen Brunson was out, when he missed some time during the season. DeLon Wright was out there and he was giving us valuable minutes. We were winning games with him a part of the equation. So to see Tom Thibodeau not in this game, not go to him after you saw how horrible campaign was from the possession when he fell on the floor, the 3-point shots that he taken left and right that nobody said. It's like, what are you doing?
I think,
by the way,
fair.
Deuce cooled off in the second half.
He did.
He
did. He had a great start to the game.
He had a great first half. Like Mitch kept his good first half extended onto the second.
But I
half.
think Deuce. The thing about Deuce is he cooled off offensively. He was fine defensively.
Fine defensively.
I've no and
he should have played the minutes he played.
I'm fine. I like him
But-
getting 25 minutes. I know you like a little bit more than 5 points. I think that's what he finished with. You like a little bit more than that. I get all that, but I like what he's giving you on defense. With campaign, he literally gave you nothing. You would have signed again if you got what you got from campaign in game 1, where he was a +6 or 7.
Game 1 against the Pistons.
I'm even saying game 1 of this series. I'm even lowering the standards. You will resign if you can get that. But right now, we don't want to see you play campaign no more. Like, I'm sorry. Like, but this is the thing. If you don't have options, if you don't have alternatives, some of that has to fall on the coach because the coach needs to get players ready to be in different situations for that. Or, I mean, like, sometimes you got to be like, F it. We're going to try something different. With DeLon Wright out here.
DeLon Wright,
can't be worse.
If you want like an oversimplification, they lost by 5 and campaign was a -9. By the way, a -9 in 9 minutes. And again, plus minus isn't everything, but this is one of those games where we pointed out.
He's bleeding you a point a
We
minute,
pointed it
guys.
out there's several different ways you can look at plus minus in this game where it's like, oh, that tracks. You know, if you look at Karl Anthony Towns, for example, who was a -19, he was getting cooked on defense. We're talking about campaign -9 in 9 minutes only. Josh Hart, who was also not great today, not -9 as well, and was limited to 28 minutes because initially foul trouble. And then Tibbs was like, you know what? We're just not going to play Josh Hart because what they're getting from Deuce, Mitchell Robinson, like it's just working out better. So to me, I don't know if DeLon Wright's going to save your season, but I'm going to keep saying it. He's been in the league 10 years primarily as an on-the-ball defender. That's what he does. He can make threes. He can do other things, but primarily he's there to defend.
What I was going to say real quick, we're not asking for DeLon Wright to be Willis Reed coming out the tunnel. We're not asking him to be that. We're asking him to be better than we're getting from campaign. And the bar, like Dex said, is on the ground, especially after his performance that he had today.
You were asking him to do what Tony Bradley did. That's all. That's it. What you're saying is hold down. Tony Bradley was a +1 in this game.
Yeah.
He had 1 point and 2 rebounds. He came in and did what he needed to do
kill you.
and didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking for in those minutes. So those minutes can help someone else be productive towards the end of the game.
And you know why he played Tony Bradley? Because Thomas Bryant was a -9 in 4 minutes.
Here's the thing. The point is he recognized when Thomas Bryant didn't have it. And what did Tom Thibodeau? I feel like now I'm raining on Tom Thibodeau. You know, even though I like the fact that he played Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson more minutes. Tom Thibodeau started the fourth quarter with campaign, and all of us here couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it.
We couldn't believe he started the fourth quarter with campaign. And listen,
And he played 3 minutes.
Hurst 747 says Cat -20, and I understand that is going to be the big number for a lot of people in this game. I get it. It's going to be the big number. Is it that just the only number? No. But it's a huge part of the problem, and it stands out big time. So, look, some of it is what Bryan said. We'll wrap on this. Some of this is just about playing better. They have to play better. The Knicks have. Do I think they can go and win 2 games in Naptown?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. Do I have any reason to believe it after what I've seen in the first 2 games?
No.
Absolutely not.
I remember the Cavs won game 3, so they made it 2-1. Because remember, the Pacers won those first 2 games in Cleveland also. And it was like, okay, maybe Cleveland ties this up. And Indy came out and beat the shit out of them from the start. Like, I don't remember if it was 38-11 or whatever.
It was
but
bad.
Like, Carlisle has these dudes like, yo,
he has them ready to go.
This is not over.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what they're going to do. So this is what we have to do. Like Rick Carlisle and Tom Thibodeau is going to have them ready too. I reacted a second ago because I looked at the line. Pacers -2. The Pacers are favored for the first time in this series. Not too surprising given that they're at home.
Yeah.
But the movement of that will be interesting because will people be like, all right, this is the Knicks bounce back spot as it was for Cleveland in game 3. I feel like I don't know about them winning 2 in Indy. I think they'll split because they're good on the road, but I don't think Indy's giving up 2, but we'll see.
Nah.
Well, here's the thing. Indy, you brought this up. They played the Bucks, they played the Cavs, and in both those series, they had these games where they came back on the team, they punched them in the mouth, and those other teams weren't able to recover. Now, the Knicks took a big blow, as big as a blow as anybody's taken in this playoffs here in game 1, maybe outside of Cleveland in game 2. But none of these teams have shown the playoffs and able to recover. Now, maybe at some point, somebody's able to punch back against Indy and recover. Maybe this is the time.
Milwaukee got game 3. Cleveland got game 3.
But nobody's been able to punch back and deliver that.
Yeah, and then
nobody's able to give them the knockdown.
Yeah.
And then
people got the jab.
Indy's been like, yo, all right, here's game 4, and then in closing game 5. That's what the Knicks are like. This is a real team. I know people were discredited before. Oh, Knicks in 5, Knicks, and I was like, yo, that's not. I was telling you then, like that ain't.
I was saying 7 games from the beginning, but when you look at this team, right, the Indiana Pacers, the same way how the New York Knicks, we have to recognize as fans and people that watch it, the same way that the Knicks shocked the world and beat the Celtics, the Indiana Pacers shocked the world and beat the dog bricks off the Cleveland Cavaliers to Bryan.
Who are good.
Who are a good
I don't care
team.
what people say
over
about
60,
Cleveland.
over 60 wins, first in the Eastern Conference for a reason.
Yeah,
and they're not to that point.
And they were banged up too.
They're not shook. Look, John here says give Shaman some minutes. He can get hot at the 3 and plays harassing defense.
Ooh.
Look,
he's a better defender.
Look, man. At this point, why not? Okay. You are down 0-2. I don't even feel like that's a desperation move because it's not desperation against a team that is going 11 deep.
Yeah.
And this is the I think John, we're on the same wavelength as this. It's not desperation against that. It is saying my guys are going to get burnt out. They've got to be fresher. I got to lead on some guys to steal me some minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing minutes could win the next game 3 or game 4 because the way it's going now with 7 players, because it ain't 8. I know they played 8, but it's not 8 people. I know they played 8, but when you're -9 in 9 minutes, you're not playing 8.
Facts.
You know, and then John says Cat only has 7 rebounds, man. Come on. He's getting outboxed. Cat was terrible on the boards.
Yeah, he was.
And this is
a fantastic point by John.
This is supposed to be a rebound series for him.
Yeah.
We've been saying
but he lost 2 rebounds at the clutch that I talked about. He lost 2 rebounds. To me,
that Mitch might have gotten.
The first one was egregious because he didn't hustle and Halliburton out-hustled him for that. The second one, right in his hands, and it got snatched away.
But the entire game, Siakam and Miles Turner, they were throwing Cat around like he was a ragdoll down there on the block, like not letting him get position. And you saw it. You saw how frustrated Karl Anthony Towns was. And if there's any bright spot to take away is that he was frustrated. And normally when he bounced back that game coming off of being frustrated, he normally performs well.
He does. This is very true. Here's what he's got to be. Everything's got to be better from Cat.
Yeah.
He's got to be better defensively. He's got to be better rebounding the ball. You cannot see the effort. He was terrible on the glass tonight.
Don't worry about the refs also.
And the Knicks won the rebounding battle, but it felt like they lost.
Because they lost in the clutch when it mattered.
Yeah.
And look, we talked about the switch. Like, yo, I think the players ultimately have to play better. That's the main thing that you could take away from this. Like, that's basic stuff. But also, Tibbs just has to be, I guess, bold, right? Like, putting in Tony Bradley is such a small thing, but it kept them above water from the standpoint of, hey, they gave up a 9-point deficit when Thomas Bryan was out there for 4 minutes. How could I stop the bleeding? Tony, come on, let's go. That's it. Yeah. And it's like it kept them afloat. 8 minutes, didn't go to Jarris Walker, went to a veteran. You have veterans on this team. Like you have Landry Shamet, as someone mentioned, even though you know how I feel about Landry Shamet minutes. But it's a look you can go to. Like, can he give you some 3-and-D for 6 minutes? Sure. DeLon Wright, I think, would be a better defensive option. Offensively, he's not the shooter historically that Landry Shamet is, but he can make a shot. He can make a couple shots. There might be even people calling for PJ Tucker. I'm not going to go that far because he's like 50 years old. But, like, there are moves that they're going to have to go to because this is it. Like, now your season's on the line and you're going on the road, and we'll see what happens in Game 3.
We'll see. It's going to be a tough one. Hector, this Eastern Conference Finals is not going good for our guests.
Oh no. Listen, it's a roller coaster so far, but I gotta say I appreciate you for having me on. I appreciate you, Bryan, like always.
Yes.
Whoever's watching, if you guys can, make sure you guys go to Uptown Sports TV. Also, LatinoSports.com. Check out the articles we put out there. And also, if you need a nice Knicks Twitter space, Carla and Nikki, they run a great Knicks Twitter space. Shout out to the sisters from Knicks and Fuego. We haven't been able to do a show just because schedules are busy, but I love the both of them. They are amazing content creators in the Knicks space. I just had to throw that out there.
Oh no! Shout out to my ladies, Carla and Nikki, both who've been on the show.
Yes.
I'm sure I probably have a text from both of them at some point now. Ask me what happened with the Knicks. I'm sure that's happened. Yeah, please check out Knicks on Fuego. Love what you guys do with the show, Uptown Sports TV. Also, shout out, as you said, to Latino Sports. Doing a great job, more Latino representation out there in sports media, which is absolutely needed. You just don't have to have our Latino brothers and sisters on Telemundo, Univision. You don't have to do that. There's more places we can have them, particularly around talking like sports with baseball, where there's a lot of Latino people. You know, some of y'all other outlets out there could be doing that. Just saying.
Bingo.
Just saying out there. But here, you know what we
I gotta
bring everybody up there. No
I got a
jokes.
great
Don't
joke,
do
but
it.
I can't.
Don't.
I'll tell you when we finish.
Don't call any names.
I'll tell you when we
Don't
finish.
call any names out there. Hector, man, we appreciate you. Sorry you're 0-1 in the seat, but as we told Mill last game, just because you're 0-1 in the seat doesn't mean you can't come back.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't come back at all. But you had fun. It was a good experience. I wish it was a win, but you know.
Hey, gotta keep it going. Hopefully it brings some good mojo to the seat for the next person that comes. And shout out to Mills Media also, who has been killing it when it comes to content.
She has.
Talk about women in sports. Mills Media has been amazing. I've been loving what I'm seeing from her. I've been following Mills for the past few years, and she's amazing. I just gotta shout her out.
She's dope. She's dope. We were glad to have her up here.
Yeah.
And I know she had a good time. I didn't even text her to see how she did in her final the next day, but I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did fine. Mill is doing an amazing job. Everybody who's come up here. Shout out to the crew. Working the game, my guy Nikolai Jackson, Wesley Splain editing, and Tommy Hogan doing a great job on the production as well. We appreciate everybody here. We'll be back on Sunday, hoping to see an Eastern Conference Finals win. That's what we're hoping to see. Maybe it happens on Sunday. Joining us on Sunday, a good friend of ours. You've seen him with myself and Bryan before.
Oh, yeah.
Our guy, Jamal Murphy, the Blackatologist. You see him doing work for Anthem.
Literally his Twitter name. It's
that is a real, it's the dopest name. That's why we having to come on to talk about the brackets.
Yes.
Jamal Murphy will be here. So we got a couple more good guests coming up for you. Knicks need to get a win to make sure we know we'll have a guest for Game 5.
We've only planned
for 4. We have not planned yet for 5, but we are working on that because we can't talk about 5 because the Knicks haven't let us know that
we gotta win some games before we get
Yeah.
there.
Like, if the Knicks keep messing around, this Sunday will be our second to last time we're doing this for the playoff run.
Oh, God.
Let's not say that.
Yeah, it's not saying like positive energy.
I think they'll split in Indy. Maybe they get the one back in the Garden after. Like we should get to at least 6.
You know what I'm going with?
You're gonna say Knicks in 7.
I'm going with one game at a time.
There you go.
That's all I'm going to say.
There you
go. Thought I was coming with a prediction. No, sir.
I thought you were going to say Knicks in 7.
No.
One game at a time.
One possession right now, at a time. One possession at a time. One less campaign minute at a time. That's what I'm asking for right now. This is what we need. That's all we need right now. Knicks fans, hang in there. Also, we got to shout out to everybody in the chat. Some people have been regulars here. John, who's been in here, size 9.
Some outsiders came in here too.
We had some outsiders.
We saw that.
We saw the haters in here too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we saw you in here. The haters were up in there.
I'm surprised you guys.
For the Knicks.
I'm surprised you guys ain't have subscriber only mode in the chat. That's something that
we try to let everybody.
I mean,
maybe sometimes you got to do that.
This is a big platform that might not have mattered.
You're probably right. People will subscribe just to hate. You know what I'm saying? People might subscribe just to hate. John, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Raphael, good stream. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. As you said, hit
Alex
that like button.
We see you also.
Hit the same thing. Yeah, we literally see Alex. She's like feet away. We literally see Alex.
Demon in the chat. John, shout out to all you guys who tuned in. We do appreciate you guys. There were some trolls in the chat, but we acknowledge the trolls because they give us views. They give us a view, so it's part of it.
It's part of it. Like even when we do our own things independently, like they're going to be there.
Oh, of course.
And it's part of the process. Someone was telling me that I was sleeping on the Minnesota Timberwolves because I picked the Thunder to win the series series because I was like, yo, they don't have any guards you have to worry about other than Anthony Edwards, even though their other guards are good. And they were like, oh, you should know more about Timberwolves basketball. We have Nas Reed, we have Dante DiVincenzo, and all these dudes. As if I don't watch some league pass.
You don't. You've been hating on the Timberwolves.
And guess what's happening in the series? Because I haven't heard. This is the thing. Like
they never come back.
When you're right about something, we haven't seen Gaza Zone.
Yo, that's a great point.
Why? Because he's a front runner and only comes when they win games.
Gaza Zone.
There's certain commenters that we've had, like they only come
he
when
not here. He was not here.
Oh, you didn't believe, and it's like,
what Gaza Zone has been very quiet. Gaza Zone, people don't know, has been very alive in us during the Pistons series, during the Celtics
I'm messing
series.
around, but like, yo,
Gaza, we love you to come back though. We're not saying not to come back. We appreciate everybody who watches. So if you watched, like, share. If you missed any of this, you want to hear the post game, we're going to put that up for everybody later to watch on YouTube. You can also catch the audio on all digital streaming platforms. You can check it out. Give Hector a follow. Please follow him. Also follow Latino Sports, Uptown TV Sports. Check that out. Follow Bryan Fonseca. Check out his show, The Build Up, as well too.
Back Monday.
Do that. And then, New York got game. We'll be live on Sunday. We will put out a recorded episode this Monday, but we're going to focus a little bit on the Liberty, their start to the season. So be sure to check that out. That'll be a good one. I'll be doing a conversation with Madeline Kennedy about the Liberty through their first 3 games of the season. We'll talk about them there. So we're going to get more into Liberty and Knicks, and we'll see with the Knicks if they can keep their season alive here. So down 0-2 to the Pacers. A tough loss again tonight. They fall 114-109 at the Garden. I'm Dexter Henry. He's Bryan Fonseca. That is Hector Beauchamp. We are signing off. Another good stream, though a loss. Knicks down 0-2. We will be back on Sunday at 8 o'clock for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Until then, everybody, peace.